Hello, welcome to Dio Relation Tales. Please subscribe my channel. Confetti rained down on me, a sticky sparkly mess clinging to my hair and dress. Laughter and music filled the rented beach house, the air thick with the scent of tequila and sunscreen. This was it, my bachelorette weekend. A last hurrah before I said I do to the perfect man. Brown. Perfect by all accounts he was. Handsome, successful, full, kind, everything a girl could ask for. Yet as I surveyed the boisterous scene of my bridesmaids dancing wildly, a niggling unease noted at me. This wasn't just pre-wedding jitters, a normal part of the experience. This was something deeper, a nagging doubt that refused to be silenced. Live quit hiding in the corner. Sarah, my best friend and maid of honor, shouted over the music. She grabbed my hand and dragged me towards the dance floor, the ba vibrating through my sandals. This is your night, let loose. I forced a smile, letting Sarah's infectious energy pull me in. We danced with the other girls, a kaleidoscope of laughter and flashing lights, but the forced mirth couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom lurking beneath the surface. Suddenly a hush fell over the room. The music dipped and everyone turned towards the doorway. There, framed by the golden light of the setting sun, stood a figure I hadn't seen in years. Liam. The name escaped my lips in a surprised whisper. Liam Davies, my high school heartthrob, stood awkwardly in the doorway. Years had etched a few worry lines around his eyes, but he still possessed that disarming smile and the same mop of unruly brown hair I remembered so vividly. Memories came flooding back, stolen glances in the library, whispered conversations in the hallway, a shared dream of traveling the world that never materialized. We were an unspoken crush, two souls orbiting each other without ever truly connecting. Olivia. Sarah, he boomed, his voice tinged with nervousness. I was in town for a meeting, and well, Sarah mentioned you were having a little get together, and he trailed off, his cheeks flushing a charming shade of ink. Sarah, ever the social butterfly, hurried towards him, a delighted squeal escaping her lips. Liam, this is amazing, come on in, catch up with the girls. As he walked in, the chatter filled the room again. The other girls, unfamiliar with him, peppered him with questions about our past. Liam, ever the charm, regaled them with stories of our high school shenanigans, his laughter filling the space. He kept stealing glances at me, and our eyes met on a few occasions. A spark dormant for years flickered between us, a silent acknowledgement of the history we shared. The party kicked into high gear. We played drinking games, danced on the beach, and sang karaoke renditions that were more embarrassing than entertaining. With each passing drink, the inhibitions that held me back melted away. I found myself laughing more freely, sharing stories I hadn't spoken aloud in years. Liam, too, seemed looser, the awkwardness of his arrival fading away. He gravitated towards me throughout the night and engaging me in conversations about our dreams, our regrets, and the paths life had taken us on. There was a newfound vulnerability in his eyes, a depth I hadn't noticed before. As the night deepened and the music thrummed with a ba that vibrated through my bones, we found ourselves sitting on the porch steps, watching the full moon paint a silver path across the ocean waves. The cool night air sent shivers down my spine, but not from the cold. The energy between us crackled with a tension that was both thrilling and terrifying. He leaned closer, his voice a husky whisper. Olivia, he began, his breath tickling my ear. I never. A shriek cut off his words from inside Sarah, attempting to do a headstand on a bar stool. We exchanged an amused glance, the moment broken, the unfinished sentence hanging heavy in the air, yet the unspoken words, the lingering touch of his hand brushing against mine as we stood up, spoke volumes. Doubt, a bitter pill to swallow, sat heavy in my stomach. This wasn't just about Liam, it was a reflection of unease that had been gnawing at me for weeks. As The party raged around us, the music a cacophony that could barely drown out the voice in my head. I realized the celebration of my impending marriage was also a confrontation with growing fear. Was I truly ready to marry Brown, the perfect man on paper? Or was there a part of me that was reluctant? The party, fueled by tequila and nostalgia, refused to wind down. Hours bled into the early morning, the sky lightening to a soft pearly gray as the RRY showed no signs of abating. My head throbbed with a dull ache. The carefree laughter earlier in the night replaced by a creeping sense of unease. Liam remained my constant companion, a shadow flitting at the edges of my vision. Our conversations, punctuated by pauses filled with unspoken emotions, had taken on a deeper layer. We delved into past dreams, regrets, and life choices we'd made. A shared vulnerability bridging the gap of years. He spoke of his travels, his eyes gleaming as he recounted adventures in far-flung corners of the world, a life that contrasted sharply with the safe, predictable path I had chosen. His words awakened a long-dormant yearning for something more, a life less ordinary, a life that mirrored the dreams we once shared under the fluorescent lights of the high school library. Sarah, ever perceptive, watched our interaction with a mixture of concern and amusement. She caught my eye once, a knowing glint in hers, but she wisely remained silent, allowing the night to unfold as the party began to dwindle, the last stragglers drifting upstairs to their rooms. Liam suggested a walk on the beach. The cool night air was a welcome relief against the heat of the party. We walked in silence, the rhythmic crash of the waves against the shore providing a background symphony. Suddenly Liam stopped, turning to face me. The moonlight cast his features in an ethereal glow, highlighting the worry lines etched around his eyes, lines that hadn't been there in my memory. He reached out his hand, gently brushing a stray strand of hair from my face. Olivia, he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. I never stopped thinking about you. The words hung heavy in the air, a confession that resonated deep within me. For years the what ifs about us had lingered in the back of my mind, an unspoken question mark on the path my life had taken. Now standing here with him under the vast expanse of the night sky, those what ifs morphed into a potent temptation. We stood there for what felt like an eternity, lost in a silent conversation fueled by unspoken desires and the weight of unfulfilled dreams. The line between past and present blurred, the memories of our high school crush morphing into an undeniable present attraction. A shiver ran down my spine, not from the cool air but from the electricity that crackled between us. Liam leaned closer, his hand trailing down my arm, sending a jolt of heat through me. His lips met mine in a kiss, an explosion of pent-up emotions finally finding release. It was a kiss unlike any I'd shared with Brown. This was raw, desperate, fueled by years of unspoken longing. It was a betrayal not just of Brown but of the future I had meticulously crafted. But in that moment, wrapped in Liam's embrace, the guilt was overshadowed by a heady cocktail of desire and nostalgia. We stumbled behind a secluded dune, the vastness of the ocean becoming our only witness. The line between past and present desires blurred completely. Clothes were shed with frantic urgency, fueled by the intoxicating combination of alcohol and long dormant feelings. It wasn't a passionate romantic encounter, it was a whirlwind of desperate need fueled by the weight of lost years and the intoxicating allure of the forbidden. The details remained hazy, a blur of tangled limbs and stolen kisses beneath the pale light of the moon. When it was over, a heavy silence settled over us, broken only by the rhythmic crash of the waves. Shame, a bitter aftertaste washed over me, the guilt a cold serpent coiling around my heart tightened its grip. We lay there, tangled together, the silence a stark contrast to the earlier fervor music, as the first rays of dawn painted the Sky and soft hues of pink and orange, the weight of what we'd done settled in a heavy burden for the sobriety that was creeping upon me. Liam too seemed to wear the weight of regret on his face. He mumbled something about needing to get back to his hotel, and with a lingering touch on my cheek he disappeared into the pre-dawn light. I watched him go, a mixture of relief and despair swirling within me. The weight of my actions pressed down on me, suffocating me. The sand, cool and damp against my bare skin, felt like a harsh reminder of the mess I'd created as the sun rose, casting a golden glow over the endless expanse of the ocean. The realization hit me. I regretted what had happened and wished I could take it back. It changed nothing about the way I felt about Brown, but reignited the passion. The sunrise found me huddled on the beach, the sand clinging to my tear-streak face. The aftermath of the forbidden encounter hung heavy, a bitter pill that refused to be swallowed. Shame, a venomous serpent, coiled around my heart, squeezing the life out of the fleeting joy of the night as the day begrudgingly awakened, casting the first rays of sunlight across the water. The enormity of my actions hit me like a rogue wave. My upcoming wedding, once a source of excitement, now felt like a looming storm cloud. The vow I'd planned to recite with such conviction were now tainted by the memory of Liam's touch, the taste of betrayal clinging to my lips. What could I do to redeem myself? I knew now more than ever that I wanted to grow old and gray with Brown. Back at the house, the remnants of the party lay scattered. Empty bottles, overflowing ashtrays, and a forgotten pair of sequin shoes. The other girls, blissfully unaware of my internal turmoil, greeted me with sleepy smiles and tales of their drunken exploits. I responded to them with fake smiles that stretched over my face. Was my guilt visible on my face? Was I wearing it boldly? I scurried away to my room and sobbed. The day stretched on in a hazy blur. We lounged by the pool, nursing hangovers and reliving the previous night's events. Sarah, noticing my subdued demeanor, shot me concerned glances, but wisely refrained from prying. I wondered if she knew what I had done. She had seen me and Liam cozying up to each other. After all, the guilt gnawed at me with every forced laugh, every swallow of the mimosas that did little to alleviate the turmoil within. My phone remained stubbornly silent. No message from Liam, a confirmation of the fleeting nature of our night. As the weekend drew to a close, I boarded the plane back home with a heavy heart. The carefree party girl who had boarded the plane a few days ago was gone, replaced by a woman racked with guilt and uncertainty. Back in the familiar embrace of my apartment, the wedding preparations stared me back in the face. Lacy invitation cards, fabric swatches for bridesmaid dresses, a framed picture of Brown smiling back at me with his trademark kindness. The guilt threatened to consume me whole. I loved Brown, of that I was certain. He was the embodiment of stability, security, everything I thought I wanted. But the encounter with Liam had unearthed a buried part of myself, a yearning for something more, something exciting. Even if it was ultimately destructive, I knew that I could discover this same passion with Brown. He was ready to always give me what I wanted, and it made me feel more like a terrible person for breaking his trust in this way. Even if I would never let him find out what I had done, it was my secret to keep, because he simply didn't deserve to have his heart broken by me in that manner. And I selfishly didn't want to face the consequences of my actions. One thing was certain: I would be the best wife I could be to my husband. Days turned into weeks, and the wedding preparations continued on autopilot, each of it, and for that I want to read your opinion in the comments. Many times I need outside voices to know if what happened was fair or not. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me on my true story, and I hope to see you again soon. Like and subscribe to know more about me. See you all.